morning. Good morning, good morning. How's everyone doing? Good morning. We got our almond croissant coffee pods in yesterday. So we're gonna try, hey Gigi, we're gonna try a new flavor today, which is very exciting. It's brand new. I hope it's delicious. I don't know if it's gonna be, but we're gonna try it and we're gonna find out. Because you know me and I love anything croissant. So it does sound delicious, I agree. And, I like almond, I like croissant. So what could go wrong, I guess, is the question. Pretty much nothing here. Yeah, it's pretty delicious as a concept, so let's see how good it is as practice. Morning, Liz. Morning, everybody. Happy Restock Day to all. Morning, Jennifer. Oh, that was quite a plop. I don't know if you guys heard it. Hey, Anya. I hope everyone is well. Why are you not making coffee, do we think? There we go. Let's do this. My slime delivery is today, finally. Outrageous that it's been taking so long this week. I think something I will not be re-celebrating. Wait, what are we not re-celebrating? Oh, no, you don't need to. You got everything. Slime day. No slime day for Jen. Jen got all the slimes already. Jen is banned from slime day. But I kind of want to buy that bone soup one. It is pretty good. That being said, Liz, I did put the same scent into that other, what is on my nose? Anyway, I put it into that one grab bag, so there's that also, if it's about the scent, or we can always recreate the scent, If it's just about the scent, whatevs. Although Crunchy Bone Soup does have glow-in-the-dark bone charms in it, which is kind of cool. Kind of cool. I do like the glow-in-the-dark charms. That is fun. It looks like the whole slime is white, and then if you keep it in the dark, it's like, ooh, glowy. It does not have eyeballs, but eyeballs aren't bones, so you wouldn't put eyeballs in a bone soup, would you? Oh my god, I'm so glad you finally got your freaking cauldrons, Jen. Gigi, you got yours too, right? Some people's have just been going around from city to city, state to state. What fragrance oils do you use for slime? Great question. I have, I'm not even joking with you, a collection of probably 500 fragrance oils. So that's a hard question to answer. Oh, the grab bag has eyeballs, but that grab bag's not scented. Although it could be for you if you really wanted it to be. I have like 500 different scented oils. So that is a loaded question, which ones I use. Yeah, like even the website is a little question. I use about 15 different websites. My best recommendation for everyone who wants to get into using fragrance oils is to get testers from a couple of different shops, because everyone specializes in different things. And you'll do better if you get samplers and smell the ones you like, because I could tell you what I like, but that doesn't mean you'll like it. Yeah, just text me, Liz. Still keep my jelly jar. Yes, guava fig jelly was so good. We definitely should remake that. The large one with the monthly slime's good, but only part of the big order. Interesting. I wonder where the other part is. I have tracking for it. It must be somewhere in the world. Yeah, they're out there. Just who knows where, right? I'll check the DMs after this. You're not getting tracking. You didn't get the email with your tracking. Did you check your spam? Some people's tracking numbers go to spam because it comes from Squarespace. Check your spam. Um, it should definitely be there. Your guava fig is long gone. Yeah, we'll make guava fig again. Don't worry, it's a good one. You didn't get the tracking email, but you didn't get your tracking email either? I wonder why that is. Why are some people not getting tracking emails? That's so weird because it's an automatic thing. Interrupting phone call who? Sorry, that was a silly cow joke. I wonder if there's like a glitch on Squarespace the day that I did your orders. But yeah, Jen is right. If you sign into your account, you can see the order confirmation. That's true. Priscilla, you didn't get one either? Ooh, maybe we need to email Squarespace. I always do. Yeah. A lot of people have been saying they didn't get emails, but like I shipped everything. I have no more pre-orders here. They're all gone. So that's weird. I'm gonna have to, I didn't get one either. Really? Okay, this is good. You usually get one and this time it didn't happen. I wonder if there's a glitch in the Squarespace system. You don't get them for most of your orders, but everyone else has been getting them for all their orders and just not this one. Very strange. Very strange. I will email Squarespace today and see if this is a known glitch for them. Because how could it be that everyone usually gets them and then just all of a sudden didn't? I didn't change any settings. Very strange. Very, very strange. But yeah, Gigi, try signing into your account and see if you can see them there. If you can't even see them there, that's a bigger issue. I went back to my emails and checked. So strange. Yeah, that's very strange. I don't know why. That's so many people. It's like literally up to like 20 people who did not get email confirmations this time. Which is odd. But I know some people got them because some people have been like tracking them and I didn't send them to them. So like, how did they get them? You know what I would prefer? I would prefer if the websites would just work consistently and everyone would get their emails the same. Call me crazy. Consistency. Who's she? Never heard of her. It would be nice. It's like, guys, like what I try to tell these things is like I pay for these emails to be sent. Like I pay like a processing fee every year to have this email system. They might just log into their account. They might have, you're right, Jen. And I'm like, what am I paying for if you're not actually sending my customers their emails? Like, what are we paying for here, you guys? It's hundreds of dollars a year and they do nothing with it. Teresa, oh, Anya. Well, maybe next year, might be your year. Okay, so verdict on the almond croissant coffee pod. It's a win. It's a win. I'm gonna have to order more of these pods before they take them away again. Is there a setting thing on our accounts? I don't think so, Gigi, although it's possible, but there's a button on my side that I have clicked that says, so like you guys can't see it, but on my side, when I make orders and I print your label, it says, do you want to send customers confirmation of this tracking? And I always say yes. You know what I mean? So like, why they don't do it? Why? I don't know. Yeah, I'll check DMs. Gigi's probably actually even faster for me to just get it for you, but it's worth you checking anyway, just so we know if the system's working before I email them, because I am going to email Squarespace today. You know what I have to tell you? I know someone else who had a Squarespace glitch last week too, not regarding emails. Someone else's Squarespace last week wasn't letting them take credit cards at all. Like, it was just like giving everyone who tried to use a credit card an error and saying that they didn't accept credit cards. And it's like, what year are we living in? 1922? Like, we all accept credit cards. Sorry about it. Like, I don't know. It's super BS. And that poor person's company suffered as a result because they got like 80 emails from people being like, I'm trying to check out and I can't. And that was also on Squarespace. So I wonder if last week they had a glitch or something. Yeah, right, Gigi? How are they going to do that? Can you imagine? You're like trying to bake. It makes me most happy that I use Apple Pay with Squarespace. Apple Pay works great. Obviously, I didn't have that glitch, but I also didn't have orders last week either. Ooh, interesting. I didn't have any orders last week because pre-order was already over last week. Interesting. I guess we're gonna find out today, huh? Although I do every day get an order or two for like the slime guide and stuff like that, so that I do get those orders, and those people probably pay with a card, I would imagine. I actually have no idea. Yeah, I'll test one today, Jen. That's a really good idea. I'll test one today beforehand and see if it works. Thank you for the new follow, Brenda. So anyway, enough about all that. Are we ready for a new chapter of Disney High? I think we are. Hey, Avery. So for anyone, I'll go buy bone soup. That's very funny, Jen. Or Liz, sorry. I don't know why I said Jen. There's not even anyone. Jen is up here. It's fine. You know what? I don't have any brain cells. I've been up since 6 a.m. Don't worry about it. My child kicks a lot. So, today we are reading chapter 4, which is Lizzie McGuire, the TV girl next door. That's not true, Liz. It's not true. Liz and I both buy all the slimes. It's true. It's true. Yeah, that part is true. What I was gonna say is anyone who missed previous episodes, the great thing about this book is that because it's nonfiction, you can catch up like whenever. So even if you missed previous episodes or chapters rather of this book, they're all uploaded and you can just watch them after this, because although it is technically linear time-wise, like, you know, you do matter. Oh, I forgot I sent you that card. Yes, I have been very good. I have to say, I want to give myself a little pat on the head for the fact that I have already sent thank you cards to everyone who sent us baby gifts from either friends like Liz or from our registry. I have already sent all of the thank you cards already. So I'm going to consider that a win because she's not born yet. And there you go. Anyway, let's read chapter 4. Oh. Night fell on Aaron Carter's 13th birthday party at Bergamot Station Arts Center in Santa Monica. Well, that didn't age well, did it? The buzzy gallery space was more fit for wine snobs and art lovers than a newly minted teen pop star. But on that brisk December evening, Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen and members of the boy band No Authority mingled among suited agents and assistants, ready to toast the pint-sized singer whose second album, aptly titled Aaron's Party, come and get it, had recently gone platinum. In a corner, a much less conspicuous 13-year-old, wide-eyed wide eyes darted anxiously. She had been sent, what is on my Kindle? She had been sent to the December 2000 fete with some of Lizzie McGuire's writers on a mission. Get Aaron Carter's attention. The series would debut the following month, and they needed a musical guest to stunt cast for the future episode. We were told, go and find Aaron. We want him to be in an episode, series writer Nina Bargel recalled. This was how the 27-year-old writer found herself trailing a nervous tween girl at a tween event where they hoped to get Aaron's team interested enough that they would acquiesce. It was going terribly, though. As the evening wore on, the young blonde girl grew increasingly smitten with the birthday boy, while the turtleneck and leather pants-clad singer continued to politely ignore her. At least he was polite. Despite his aloofness, the Lizzie team's persistence, and a few key discussions between a Disney casting executive and Aaron's choreographer paid off. And by the end of the night, Aaron had agreed to appear and perform on the show. When he arrived on the Lizzie McGuire set to film Aaron Carter's Coming to Town episode weeks later, he got a shock. As Aaron sat in the makeup chair, the nervous blonde from the party walked down the hall into the dressing room, it was Hilary Duff. He hadn't realized that this was her show. A German experimental thriller isn't the obvious muse for a Disney Channel hit, but then again, Lizzie McGuire was never an obvious tween show. It centered around a 13-year-old girl, Lizzie, her quirky family, and her supportive best friends, Gordo and Miranda. The series drew unlikely inspiration from the R-rated art house flick Run, Lola, Run, to interweave animated effects and experimental camera work alongside everyday storylines about school picture day and first bras. Executive producer Stan Rogo had first stumbled upon the pilot in a pile of scripts that cluttered his office, hoping to make something his young son I didn't know it either, Jen. His young son could enjoy. He selected 2 scripts from the stack to pitch to Disney Channel. One, a complex cyber adventure series from the Back to the Future co-writer Bob Gale, and the other, a TV writer Terry Minsky's None of the Above, but about an incredibly ordinary girl named Lizzie McGuire trying to navigate high school as her thoughts are communicated to the audience through voiceover narration. I had a coworker whose daughter's name was Lizzie McGuire, born along before the show. That's funny, and I don't know, you gotta just cash in on it, right, Liz? I mean, you know. Bob Gale's was always a no-brainer, there's a quote. It was classic high concept Disney show from a legend, Rogo said. None of the above was literally no concept. And it was like, here's a girl who has self-esteem issues and isn't the prettiest or the smartest, and we're just gonna see what happens every week, end quote. The network bought both scripts, but Gale's project quickly fizzled in pre-production. That left None of the Above. Gary Marshall, the network's EVP of originals at the time, wasn't thrilled with the show's complete lack of gimmick. So to elevate it, he and Rogo tweaked the script's voiceover component to become a pop-up animated character similar to the visualized narration on MTV's Daria. I have to tell you, it was a genius idea on their part to put that in there. The show would not have been the same if you didn't have cartoon Lizzie popping up all the time saying her thoughts. Like the separation of inner monologue from a person's outer monologue in everything where it works is seriously clutch. It makes me think of Spring Awakening, because the musical Spring Awakening does something very similar where the characters are talking blah 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 blah, and then when they grab microphones, that's their inner monologue, and they never tell you that, right? And they don't tell you it in Lizzie McGuire either. They don't say the cartoon's her inner monologue. You don't have to be told, you just know, right? And the same thing happens in Spring Awakening. The characters are saying, hi, blah, 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 and then they turn to the audience with a microphone, and that's their inner monologue, and the other characters can't hear it. You know what I mean? It's a great moment. So when it works, it works. They also reset the pilot in middle school to age it down for the Disney audience. Now, they just needed a perfect star. Hopeful young actors auditioning for Disney Channel could be an exhausting effort that might involve 7 or 8 auditions to the finish line offering a starring role. Casting directors often embarked on cross-country tours, meeting kids from top agencies in all the major markets, sitting in on community theater productions, and overseeing additional open casting sessions. I just want to point out really quickly that this author has not ever, unlike pretty much every other except I think Jodi Benson's memoir, every other nonfiction book that we have read that involves acting of any kind in any way has made the casting director, casting agent mistake. This author did her research, because she has never once made that mistake. She says casting directors and agents separately, like marketing agents and casting directors as 2 separate things, which is the correct way to do it. But so many people make a mistake and say the term casting agent. There's no such thing as a casting agent. If you are ever out looking for an audition, or somebody tells you that your kid is cute and they want to audition them and they say, I'm a casting agent, it's fake. It's a scam. Don't listen. It's not real. casting director is the only term for a person who does casting, or casting assistant, sure, fine, whatever. But there's no such thing as a casting agent, because casting cannot take agent fees. It's against the law. So this person did it right. Where was I? Actors who couldn't audition for Disney in person would send VHS tapes, or in later years, DVDs and digital clips. Quote, "The kids are kids, but they're also commodities," Even Stevens and That's So Raven showrunner Mark Warren said. "So the casting sessions are like shopping for a new car or something. That one's got dents in it. This one's this, that one's that." Nothing was ever said directly to the kid, but there were certain things I'm not proud of that we said. Until he left the network in 2009, Executive Vice President turned eventual network president Rich Ross technically had the final say on all casting. But in the casting sessions at the Disney Channel's Burbank headquarters, it was usually Gary Marsh who sat in on the finalists' reads and made judgment calls in the room alongside the producers. Marsh was known to wear a stony poker face. Quote, "I never saw him laugh except when someone was getting fired," one executive producer joked, and often maintained an intimidating facade while young actors performed comedy lines in the room. That's so harsh, you guys. It's so harsh. It served as a test for how well the kids might keep their cool in the face of future critics. That's also fair. Ooh, okay. It's a hard line because that's fair and harsh at the same time. I don't know what to say. In addition to the standard line reading, the Disney Channel audition included interview components in which the kids answered softball questions about their own lives. What are your hobbies? Who are your favorite singers? We knew that the writing would stem from their real personalities as much as from the characters that they were playing, Ross said. They weren't really comfortable talking about them if they weren't really comfortable talking about themselves in this very "this is who I am" kind of way, then it was going to be a challenge. I don't think we ever cast someone who flunked the interview. That's interesting. For none of the above, which later became What's Lizzie Thinking and then Lizzie McGuire, the casting director Robin Lepin was tasked with finding a charming tween girl who could master comedy but who also felt relatable and a little bit quirky. She tested a couple hundred girls for the lead role of Lizzie via self-tape and in-person auditions at Rogo's office in Lantana Studios in Santa Monica, including finalists Sarah Paxton, Hallie Hirsch, and Hilary Duff. "Everybody wanted that part," Sarah said. "I gave it my all." In the end, it came down to Hallie and Hilary. Hallie had done dozens of episodes of the soap opera Loving and recently charmed audiences in You've Got Mail. Hilary had starred in the straight-to-video critically panned Casper Meets Wendy and had recently had her role in Michael Chillis-led sitcom Daddy-O. I don't know how to say that person's last name. Sorry about that. Cut after shooting the pilot. Well, that's why we've never heard of it. She was ready to quit acting altogether if she didn't get Lizzie. These stories are always fascinating to me. When someone's like done and then they get their big break, that's always the moment, you know what I mean? It wasn't like Hilary was the best actress in the world. I mean, look, she was 12, Lepin said, but I remember the personality. I remember the likability. I remember the adorableness. And all of that just came together when she read. And I knew that she had charisma. I knew that boys and girls would both like her and she wouldn't be threatening. Hilary Earhart Duff was a Texas transplant who had been raised in Houston and San Antonio, and she and her older sister Haley had first been shuttling back and forth to LA for auditions in the mid-90s with their mom Susan, while their dad Bob stayed behind to run his successful business overseeing a chain of Texas convenience stores. That's the difference between Hilary and all my other clients. None of my other clients had the wealth that Hilary's family had, said Troy Rowland, who became Hilary's acting coach during Lizzie and later worked on her management team. Quote, "The Duffs didn't have to do this. So if Hilary got out of line, they had a very strong hand and they could say, hey, do you think we want to be here away from our nice house in Texas?" Hilary echoed that sentiment to Cosmopolitan UK in 2020. She said, quote, "My mom didn't let me get away with shit. She was like, you're not supporting this family. We're not using your money, so you're not calling the shots." And there it is. This is the part we were talking about yesterday, being excited to hear about. This is the difference, right? The family didn't need the young actor's money, and that's why her life was different. I guarantee it. That is 110% the difference. You are not supporting this family. I'm still the parent. I'm still in charge. Because the minute the kid is the breadwinner, it's over on all accounts. It's over for the relationship. It's over for the kid's well-being. It's over for everything. But if the kid is doing it because this is something they want to do and the parent sees it as a privilege that they get to do it, I think her parents really, this is it for me. Aided by her stuttering squeaks and a tendency to nervously bite her lip, Hillary had a casual warmth that carried over into her acting and a friendly cool factor that made her someone kids could hope to emulate. Extremely different. I love that her parents were like that and said that. Me too. And granted, look, not all parents have the ability to be like that, but this, I agree with you, Jen. This is why she's normal, because they didn't need her money. If they had needed her money, she would have fallen into the Britney, Amanda Bynes, everybody, you know? When the parents take the kids' money, your kids are not supposed to support you. I'm sorry. That's a hard line for me. And it's been a hard line for me my whole life after studying as much about Judy Garland as I did. A child should never be the family's breadwinner. That is an unfair burden to put on a child in any circumstance. It's the same reason why my kid won't be on camera until she is old enough to choose it for herself. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna make money on her. I'm gonna make money on my own funny. If you don't like this face, you can leave. Just kidding. It's falling apart. Do you see this? My face is falling apart. Shirley Temple had it better. Shirley Temple's life was better, actually, Jen, than Judy by far. Shirley Temple's parents pitched acting to her as a game rather than a job. So at least there's that. She never knew she was working. She always thought that she was playing a game and she was just playing with her friends. And I think that made a big difference in her life. And that's why, I don't know if you all know, she ended up becoming she got into politics later in life and did other stuff. Shirley Temple did. She left acting as an adult and went on and did humanitarian work and stuff like that. So yeah, because she was told that she was playing a game with her friends, did not know, an ambassador, that's what it was. She did not know that she had a job, which is good because kids should not have a job. Anyway, let's keep going. Aided by her stuttering squeaks and the tendency to bite her lip. Okay, here we go. The friendly cool factor that made her someone that kids could hope to emulate. With Hillary as Lizzie, suddenly the show and Disney Channel's entire MO moving forward clicked into place. She was relatable, but also an icon. This was the magic trick of the show, is a quote. You had the death-defyingly cute girl playing the not-so-cute girl, Rogan said, and everybody bought it. That was the 90s for you. I know that this is venturing into the 2000s, but we just saw a meme the other day that was totally true. It's like, you literally take the hottest girl ever, pop a pair of glasses on her face in the 90s, and they were like, oh my God, she's the nerd. The cool guys would never go for her. Take her glasses off. Oh my God, she's stunning, and I don't even recognize her. The weirdest trope of the 90s. Who even bought that? These girls were gorgeous. Stop being ridiculous. Anyway. They assembled the rest of the cast around Hillary. As Lizzie's best friend, David Gordo Gordon, they cast Adam Lamberg, a 15-year-old intellectual New Yorker who was small for his age. And as Lizzie's other best friend, Miranda Sanchez, they cast a 12-year-old Lelaine Vargas Parras. Lelaine came from the musical theater world where she had acted in Les Mis on Broadway and played an orphan in The Wonderful World of Disney's 1999 version of Annie. Mandy Moore, gorgeous, had it way better than Britney Spears, though. Her parents didn't take her money. Personally, she had just gone by Lelaine ever since the talent agent encouraged her to drop her Filipina surname to broaden her casting possibilities. And rather than make her Lizzie character Filipina to mirror Lelaine's own background, Miranda was written as Mexican. I didn't know she was Filipina. I always assumed she was Spanish of some kind, probably because they gave her the last name Sanchez. Oh well. I don't know why they didn't just make her character Filipina, writer Nina Bardia said. I don't think it would have changed things drastically. It was tough because we couldn't go to Lelaine and be like, hey, please tell me some of your Mexican traditions, because she wasn't Mexican, end quote. After delivering the script for the pilot and having some input on the casting, Terry Minsky exited Lizzie to run the Geena Davis show, which had been created at ABC. Susan Estelle Jansen, who'd been producer on Boy Meets World, joined Lizzie as the executive producer alongside Rogo as regular series production began in the summer of 2000 at Hollywood's Ren Marsh Studios, the site of Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz's former Desilu Studios. Rogo was simultaneously serving as EP, executive producer, on the Fox Family series State of Grace, starring Mae Whitman and Alia Shawkat, on an adjacent soundstage. He picked Lizzie's spot next door to make it easier for himself to shuffle back and forth between the productions throughout the week. It's actually very smart. I was Desi for a while, Rogo joked. Only once did I walk in on the wrong stage. While filming the live-action single-camera Lizzie McGuire episodes, they relied on animator Deborah Solomon to draw each episode's cartoon Lizzie segments on paper by hand. This is unique. I've not heard this before. The images were then scanned and colored on a computer before overlaid on static photographs from the set, and Hillary recorded her accompanying voiceover lines in a small recording booth on site. For the kid actors working on Lizzie was a dream gig. Quote, every week was like, what fun thing do I get to do now, said Jake Thompson, who played Lizzie's little brother Matt, when I spoke to him for a 2021 Vice article. Quote, it really was the best job in the world for a 9 to 11-year-old. I can't say that there's anything I look back on that was unpleasant or even difficult. It was just fun. In their downtime, the actors would go to Disneyland or socialize at teen clubs in LA. Once, Clayton Snyder, who played Lizzie's hunk, Ethan Kraft, even took Hilary Duff to a dance at his public middle school. Quote, my mom thought it'd be a great idea to invite her, he said. It ended up being like all my fellow classmates just forming a giant circle around her and staring at her the whole night, end quote. Just like on Even Stevens, the network executives in Burbank provided notes on each episode, but unlike the other show, here, the suits had Rogo to contend with. Stan Rogo was a classic firewall producer, said Tim Melee. It was almost reflexive. They would give a note and his impulse would be to say, nope, we can't do that. To Rogo, the network feedback amounted to little more than make it funnier, and in his mind, Lizzie was already as funny as it needed to be. Rogo made sure every script had what he dubbed the Gary Marshall 3/4 page, parentheses. On a generous day, it would stretch to the Gary Marshall page and a half. This was an extended moment that catered to the sentimentality of the Disney legacy. Heartwarming and poignant, just the way Walt would have wanted. This is interesting. To keep the humor that the network now desired, he found creative ways to deliver the schmaltz on screen, like having Mr. McGuire share a heart-to-heart with Matt while hanging upside down from a booby trap. Honestly, it worked. Their plan worked, because you can have both. It can be funny and heartwarming at the same time. I agree with them. Rather than break down the series into the standard 18 to 24 episode season, Disney structured Lizzie into two 30-something episode mega seasons that they shot over 2 years. That's insane, by the by. I didn't know this. You don't clock these things when you're just watching it as a kid, but 30 episodes in one season is wild. The reason seemed to be momentary. With every new season of a show, various union rules dictated that pay scales and often job titles receive a bump. Interesting. To avoid that increase, Disney tacked on season extensions, adding episodes to the current season that didn't require accompanying payouts. Ooh, shady. That was a little shady. They did a kind of bait and switch, Lizzie writer Melissa Gowd said. So while I was thrilled I could continue working on a show, I did feel completely screwed over. We don't love this. On Lizzie McGuire, the episode stakes were never too high, but the series quietly pushed the envelope by showing some of the realities that kids actually dealt with, like the humiliation of shopping for a first bra, Miranda's single episode battle with an eating disorder, and Gordo belatedly celebrating his bar mitzvah. I'm Jewish and I had to deal with a lot of prejudice growing up, so to me, it was a little bit personal, said the Bar Mitzvah episode's director Anson Williams, who's perhaps best known for playing Potsy on Happy Days. It was a kinder, gentler way of stopping a little bit of the prejudice. Several episodes featured a pair of male characters and their pet chimpanzees in a bit that fans have equated to coded representation of a gay couple raising an adopted child. Quote, "We never had been intentionally saying, hey, this will be a gay couple," writer Nina Bargel said. But there was one draft where the guys were going to Fire Island and they needed someone to watch the chimp. That was clearly coded, and I think Disney made us change that. The other elements of the show were less progressive. Davita Williams, who played Claire Miller, the sidekick of the mean girl Kate Sanders, was the most prominent black actress on the show, but her character was largely one-dimensional. It was definitely obvious to me that on the network and on TV in general, there just weren't a lot of people of color, said Davita. One of the other black characters on Lizzie was Matt's friend Lanny? I don't actually remember how to pronounce it. Lanny? It's not Laney, but it's a boy's name, so I don't know. Played by Christian Copeland, who was scripted to be completely mute and never spoke a line. According to the show writers Doug Tuber and Tim Melee, the series didn't have the money to pay for a new reoccurring speaking role, so Lanny was created mute to fit into the budget. That's terrible. But the network's late-stage effort to diversify the show's casting by finding a black actor to play him backfired. Quote, "When we originally wrote Lanny, we had in mind a kind of weird-looking Eastern European kid, but Disney Channel said, we would love it if you cast an African-American actor to get some better visual representation," Melee said. "Towards the end of the run, a woman approached me and said, I've got a bone to pick with the show. Lanny is one of the only black characters on the show and he never says a word. What's that about?" I couldn't very well say, well, the character was never intended to speak. There was never enough money for the character to speak. But I could see how somebody watching the show would go, what's up with this? That one black kid never gets to say a word. The network's goals for Lizzie McGuire hadn't initially been anything different or bigger than past Disney Channel series. The benchmark for viewership success, based on the number of households with Walt Disney Channel, had been set at what seemed like a lofty 1 million before its launch in January of 2001. That quickly went out the window. By its second season, Lizzie was averaging around 2.3 million viewers per episode and became the most watched show on Disney Channel, charging right past Even Stevens. Shortly after the show began airing, a gaggle of tween girls began serenading me to the Lizzie McGuire theme as I walked home from Hermosa Beach with a surfboard under my arm, said Kyle Downs, who played the geeky oddball Larry Tudgman. "I remember thinking how surreal that moment in my life was, and not once has it been repeated since," he said. By September of 2001, Lizzie was being syndicated on ABC's One Saturday Morning. Ugh, what a joy. Widening its reach, and in September 2002, Disney Channel started airing Lizzie 7 days a week rather than just on weekends. In addition to its primetime slot, by then it was the #1 show on cable at 7:30 p.m., and it occasionally aired again at 11 p.m. to unexpected success. I said, "Who the F is watching at 11 at night on the Disney Channel?" Rogo said. "Well, it's college girls." The situations Lizzie faced on the show spoke to older girls and women who had lived through those awkward adolescent days themselves, and the series served as sweet nostalgia for their bygone girlhoods. Interesting. I love One Saturday Morning. Still remember the jingles. I miss the Saturday morning. Yeah, no, it's all great. It was all great, you guys. I agree. Kids today don't have it as good as we had it. This is interesting, though, right? They nailed something here. Plus, Lizzie and Miranda's hair and fashion choices were trendily maximalist and chaotic, hairstyles topped with feathers, dice, and pom-poms, outfits pairing paisley with tie-dye, and the scripts were just plain funny. Lizzie's wide-reaching popularity even stretched into the homes of stars like Aerosmith frontman Steven Tyler, whose children loved the show so much that he agreed to play Santa Claus in a season 2 episode as long as his kids could appear as well. What was supposed to be a 4-hour shoot for his cameo turned into an all-day experience that included Tyler making an impromptu visit to the Lizzie recording booth and laying down a rendition of Santa Claus is Coming to Town to sing in the episode. While Lizzie received Primetime Emmy nominations for Outstanding Children's Program in 2003 and 2004, it lost to an HBO documentary special that dealt with 9/11 and another on diversity. Your children's programming. That's what we're giving them. How old are these children? Diversity, sure, but do we need to tell the babies about 9/11? Diversity, fine. But also, how many babies like to watch documentaries? I don't know. Quote, "It was like putting the Real Housewives up against Inside the Actors Studio," writer Nina Bargil said, but there were more important metrics of Lizzie's success, like when the cover of April 2003's TV Guide proclaimed, "Move over, Mary-Kate and Ashley, Lizzie McGuire is America's new sweetheart." Suddenly, as outside media attention rolled in, the greater Disney Corporation began considering that Disney Channel's original content might have value of its own. Rogo pushed for the consumer products division to merchandise the show. Until then, Disney's strategy had been almost entirely reliant on merchandising characters from its animated films. The consumer production team understood how to market Simba and Ariel. They didn't quite get the appeal of centering products around a live-action series and its star. At first, quote, "Nobody thought Disney Channel stuff was going to make a lot of money," Rogo said. "They didn't know if it was going to make any money. Merchandising. But the demand was undeniable. And Lizzie books, pencils, sleeping bags, jewelry organizers, sewing patterns, diaries, stationery, party supplies, and apparel lines at Kohl's and Limited Too exploded onto shelves. Because Hillary's deal wasn't structured to include a substantial cut of the merchandise, Rogo said, the Duffs weren't interested in Disney profiting from Hillary's face on their assorted products. Her deal, quote, her deal gave her bupkis if she did merchandise, so rather than have Hillary on merchandise, we had the animated character, which Disney owned, Rogo said, but it never really broke through the way that it would have if she was willing to do more, or if Disney would have compensated her more. In 2001, Disney Channel introduced Express Yourself interstitial campaign with network talent giving them a platform to voice their own brand-approved opinions, discussing their favorite hobbies, music, and sharing views of the world. Overseen by the marketing team, each performer would sit down for 35 to 45-minute interview that would be chopped up and edited together around various themes to air during programming breaks. It was really the crescendo of it all, Rich Ross said. It was transcendental for all of us. Transcendental. I don't know why I pronounced that wrong. It was transcendental for all of us because it just underscored our purpose and the talent's purpose, which was not always the same. While stars of the Disney Channel series received media training whenever they did occasional outside press interviews, on the network itself, they had previously only appeared as their scripted characters in specific projects. Would it be confusing for kids to suddenly see Hillary as Hilary Duff and not Lizzie McGuire, or Shia as Shia LaBeouf instead of Louis Stevens? Maybe. But it would also increase the relatability of the talent and forge a connection between them and the audience. Plus, it would please the actors who would get a chance to talk about themselves on air before their careers reached the level of merit that merited talk show appearances. In the Express Yourself spots, Hillary had the space to talk about her fantasy mall day and her family's 4th of July traditions. And when 9/11 happened, the network used their interstitial series to have their stars directly connect with unsettled viewers. In the immediate aftermath of the 2001 attacks, network president Anne Sweeney dictated Disney Channel's official position, quote, "We are a safe haven." She instructed the programming team to comb through Disney Channel content library and make sure there was no imagery of buildings collapsing or any episodes or movies. Within weeks of 9/11, the network sent a film crew to the White House to film an Express Yourself interview with First Lady Laura Bush in the map room. Quote, "That was a very surreal experience. I remember President George W. Bush came into the room when we were filming and said, 'Hello,'" Express Yourself director Gwen Owens said. "What ran through my mind in that moment was, dude, you shouldn't be here. You should be in the war room or something. The whole world is freaking on fire." Back at the studio in Los Angeles, Disney Channel gathered various talent to film companion Express Yourself interviews with the goal of comforting scared viewers and opening dialogue with their parents. Without speaking directly about the events that occurred on September 11th, the way that Nick News with Linda Elderby might have, they instead had stars like Hillary talk in abstract terms about their love of firefighters and the American flag. And Shia even read an original poem, sample line here. "I think through this pain I've learned powerful lesson that it is something awesome to be an American citizen." Okay. Great poem, Shia. Great poem.
Global affairs routinely impacted Disney Channel's programming decisions. While the animated action series Kim Possible frequently showed Kim battling bad guys, none of those showdowns could take place at her high school. In the wake of the Columbine school shooting, the network mandate was that schools on Disney Channel needed to be seen as a safe place where nothing too scary occurred. After the high-profile of journalist Daniel Pearl and other tragedies in the Iraq War, Disney decided that it would be too disturbing for the mom on Phil of the Future to have a detachable head anymore, which was the original plan. So they scrapped that idea and reshot all of her scenes with the character as regular and a fully human mom. In hindsight, the 9/11 Express Yourself clips come across more as nationalistic propaganda than generic comfort vehicles that they were intended to be. Off camera, the actors were more candid with their opinions. Quote, "I was very vocal about my disgust for the Bush administration," Nick Spano of Even Stevens said. "I remember being dumbfounded and being on set and having those conversations about, wow, this is the dumbest administration that we've ever had." It's funny that we think that now. Then he thought that at the time, and I don't think any of us would have disagreed with him at the time, but now that kind of dumb doesn't even compete. It's wild how we've progressed in dumbdom. If the Express Yourself interstitials allowed the actors to be themselves on camera, the legendary wand IDs allowed the actors to be themselves on camera while also explicitly promoting the Disney Channel, their respective projects, and drawing attention to the Disney Channel logo, all in a matter of seconds. It was a branding masterclass. Disney Channel had hired the Razorfish creative agency to come up with graphics and interstitials that would market the brand as cooler and older. From the agency's office in New York, creative director Carlos Ferrios and the team had first revamped the network's logo in 1997 by making new show characters appear inside a Mickey Mouse-shaped TV logo, and again in 2000 to craft a more abstract, transparent corner logo dubbed the Peeking Mickey. Honestly, genius. This creative agency deserves whatever money they were given, and I hope it was a ton, because they did a great job. For the latter redesign, the goal was that it was minimal and mostly transparent Mickey would keep the Disney brand in the front of your mind while you watched the show along with the audience, rather than acting as a barrier between the viewer and the content. The designers debated every detail, focusing on the texture of the ears and how elastic and jellyfish the logo should appear as it moved in place. The Mickey logo served as a reminder of the magic of Disney, but did not take it a step further, Ferrios thought. What if the stars of the Disney Channel appeared on the show in transitional segments, drawing the simple logo with a magic wand? It could invoke the mythology of Sorcerer Mickey and Tinkerbell's pixie dust while being a uniquely Disney Channel entity. It was genius. That's Sasha saying it was genius. That's not written here, but that's my own personal opinion. I think it was genius. The agency presented the idea to the Disney Channel marketing team. Quote, "The biggest conversation was, how dorky is this going to be?" Marketing and branding strategist Leo Hensley said, "But there's something about the waving of a wand. It's sort of wish fulfillment of its own." In 2003, a dozen or so actors from original series, syndicated series, and DCOMs assembled for the first time at Hollywood's Raleigh studios to shoot a new round of Express Yourself videos, and then each shuffled over to a white backdrop to shoot a quick-to-camera introduction that all ended the same way. Quote, "Hey, I'm Hilary Duff from Lizzie McGuire, and you're watching Disney Channel." "Hi, I'm Tosh Mowry from Smart Guy, and you're watching Disney Channel." "Hey, what's up? It's Christy Carlson Romano, and you're watching Disney Channel." After reciting their lines, they use a stick wrapped in green screen to draw the outline of mouse ears, a task more challenging than it appeared. We all remember them, right, Jen? I mean, like, how could you forget? It actually became like a marker for things. It's so smart, Naisa. It's like they were doing something, you know? "You're just painting the air," Even Stevens' AJ Troth said. "You know those Picasso photographs where he paints an entire matador using a light wand in pitch black and it's incredible? Yeah, no, that was not us." Parentheses. "In more recent years, the wand tech has improved, and now kids watch themselves on a TV set monitor that overlays the outline of the ears for them to trace with precision." I don't think it mattered, to be honest. They could have been going like this in the air, and I don't think we would have cared. I don't think it needed to be that precise. I think it was just the idea that they were like, Mickey ears, and it showed up. That's my personal opinion. I think they could have just been flopping around and no one would have noticed. The byproduct of the wand IDs and the express yourself interstitials was the messaging to viewers that these actors were bigger than any single project or character that they were known for playing. Suddenly, Gordo wasn't just Lizzie's best friend on Lizzie McGuire. He was Adam Lambert, a well-spoken kid who loved Bob Dylan and Jimi Hendrix, and he had authority and purpose, and he was a budding celebrity in his own right. Yeah, everyone wanted to do it right along with them, so it was actually, yeah, I agree, Naisa. Quote, it was a leap bringing the talent out of their world and into the Disney world, Farios said, but Disney Channel realized that there's a lot of value in connecting with the actual actors and actresses behind the characters. Not that Adam Lambert, Liz. It's spelled the same way, but it's not him. Not the singer. It's a different one, but it's the same name. Yeah. Well, it's Adam Lamberg with a G. I might be pronouncing it. Did I say Bert? It's Lamberg with a G. My apologies. But it's very similar. It's Adam Lamberg. As Lizzie McGuire became the network's biggest hit, Hillary and Lelaine became good friends while playing BFFs on the show. They were always rehearsing and shooting their scenes together at work. And offset, they lived near each other and shared milestones like having their legs together. Having their legs together for the first time. Shaving their legs together for the first time. Not having your legs together for the first time. That's not a thing anyone does. Sorry. I was like, what is this sentence? What do you mean having your legs together? And But as the show was shooting the final few episodes of its run, the unthinkable happened. They had a falling out beyond repair. Quote, the two girls were literally best friends for 3/4 of the show, maybe more, showrunner Stan Rogo said, and then they had a blow up that never got healed. The issues were multifold. Part of the tension was rooted in the season 1 episode Random Acts of Miranda, because the writers knew that Lelaine had a singing background and wanted to pursue it further. They wrote a storyline where Miranda bombs as the lead singer in the school play, but wows the crowd with her rendition of Mulan's power ballad Reflection. Quote, Hillary and her mom were very upset by their long-term plan for Hillary. They were very upset because their long-term plan was for Hillary to sing, the episode's co-writer Tim Melee said. And in the overall scheme of Lizzie, Lelaine was the one who got to sing first. While Hillary's musical career would soon ascend, she eventually sang a song on the show's soundtrack, and she never got to actually perform on the series like Lelaine did. Interesting. There was also some insecurity on Hillary's part over where she stood among the cast and crew. Because her character was so central to the show, Hillary had been in more scenes than everyone else, and while the other kids did their schoolwork together in a classroom, Hillary had a private tutor, while Lelaine played basketball with crew members on the lot or bonded with other young actors in their downtime. Hillary was busy filming or recording cartoon Lizzie's voiceover. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, that's just kind of the way of it, right? It is what it is. One day, Susan Duff approached writer Nina Bargel and told her that Hillary had noticed everyone seemed to spend more time with Lelaine and had a stronger connection to her. And Bargel said that she immediately wrote Hillary a letter telling her that that wasn't the case and everyone adored her and that she understood how it felt to feel left out. Quote, I was like, if you're feeling weird or whatever, you're always free to find me, and you're always free to call me. If you need someone to talk to who's not a parent, I'm here, Bargel said. And she came up to me and she hugged me, and we were crying, and it felt like a swamp of things. It was like this cauldron that just eventually bubbled over. The tension between Hillary and Lelaine was partly typical teen drama, but it also involved their careers and their managers. There were a lot of emotional politics that were just unfortunate, Rogo said. It was a mess. And while most friends who have a falling out can distance themselves from each other, Hillary and Lelaine's on-screen friendship was the cornerstone of every Lizzie McGuire episode. And they needed to continue to spend full days together shooting the series. Quote, it fractured all the way up to the parents, Rogo said. There were two camps. We don't want to work with her, and we don't want to work with her. And it was like, oh my God, this is a nightmare, and we couldn't solve it. End quote. Production screeched to a halt, and the issue eventually escalated to the senior network executives, and they made the call. They released Lelaine early from her contract by 6 episodes, and the writers could do throwaway lines explaining her character's absence with Miranda's sick, or she's visiting family in Mexico, etc. Quote, we could never and would never force someone to do a show they didn't want to do, Rich Ross said. For Lelaine, she was just ready to go. I guess they didn't kick her out. I guess she had to leave if they're saying she was ready to go. It's crazy. Rogo and Jansen gathered the team to break the news. We were just told Lelaine has left to do other projects, Nina Bargel said. And it was like, what? It was always phrased in a way where it sounded like it was her choice. Losing Lelaine meant losing a cornerstone of what made the series so special. Lelaine is very talented, Rogo said. She made the show funny because she could make a joke work. There was an attempt to bring her back for a Christmas episode with Steven Tyler. Sorry, I got that prove you're a human thing. With Steven Tyler, while it aired as the 20th episode of season 2, it was actually shot later in the production schedule, but things quickly soured again. At the table read, you could tell there was something going on between the two of them. Lelaine was kind of like strutting in like, I'm back, and Hillary didn't like that, writer Doug Tuber said. After the table read, Stan told us, well, she's not going to be in this one either, so we just wrote her out. In 2005, Rogo and Lizzie creator Terry Minsky reteamed on a pilot for Disney Channel's spin-off series centered on Miranda's previously unseen and unmentioned little sister, Stevie Sanchez, which would star a young Selena Gomez in the title role. Hillary was not involved, and Lelaine reprised her supporting role to film the pilot. The only problem, it was a real downer. Quote, Lizzie McGuire was fun and wacky, and the tune that put about 15 minutes into the Stevie pilot was Everybody Hurts by REM, and it fit perfectly, Rogo said. That's just not a show for the Disney Channel. And when it went up against the much perkier Hannah Montana, it ultimately lost. Despite the Hillary and Lelaine drama, there had initially been hope that Lizzie would be the first Disney Channel original series to extend beyond 65 episodes. Some of the creatives remembered Gary Marsh summoning them to Burbank at the start of season 2 and telling them, the standard business model up until now has been 65 episodes, but if you guys take this season and make it even more popular, we can go way beyond in a heartbeat. But as Hillary's fame escalated and the outside movie offers began to trickle in, negotiating an extended contract with the funds they had available soon became impossible. Quote, we only had so much money, Ross said. Hillary started getting other things, and we had already been piloting Raven's show, and we were just developing more and more. Lizzie would have to end at 65. Just like all the others. And on June 14, 2002, the Lizzie McGuire cast and crew gathered one last time at a bowling alley at Universal City Walk for the one and only, not to be duplicated, utterly stupendous, wonder-tastic rap party, read the invite. And that was that. Until music and movies entered the picture. Oh. I wish we could read more, but the next chapter says is literally an hour long. So tomorrow's going to be a long one, you guys. It says 52 minutes. I read a little faster than the predicted. So whatever it says is the prediction will probably be like 45 minutes really. But we do stop and talk sometimes, so maybe it's that much. But, oh man, this is very interesting. I wish that we could do 2 in one day. If it wasn't restock day, I'd stick around. Yeah. Wow, wow, wow. Mm-hmm. They are long chapters, but that tends to happen in nonfiction. It is really good, Caddy, I agree. Yeah, it's still about her. It's extended Hillary Duff info. The book is called Disney High, Caddy. It's called Disney High by Ashley Spencer. Hey, Shelly. Shelly, did you get my package that I sent you? Yeah, it's a great book, but tomorrow says it's about Hillary's further career. So we're still going to be reading about Hillary tomorrow, but not about Lizzie McGuire. You're almost done with Henry Lee Winkler. That was a great book. Hi from Paris. Oh my God, I didn't know you were in Paris. Yes, I quite enjoyed, I read Henry Winkler's book last year. Bye, Jennifer. So very don't judge a book. Yes, yes, yes. So anyway, I will be on later today because of course we have restock at 4:30 for Patreon and, excuse me, I have the hiccups, and 5 o'clock for the public. There's plenty of slime available for all. I hope you all come and grab something and enjoy, although a lot of you were pre-order people, so that's fine. And yeah, that's the whole kit and caboodle. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye, Shelly.